Please subscribe to our channel, and for latest update, click on the bell icon.
Now we will talk about politeness. You need to be polite to one another at home, at school, wherever we are. And if we do not practice politeness, we can land ourselves into trouble. That's what we are going to look at it. Okay? Are you polite? If not, then we have to correct. So what we are going to learn today together, I must be polite. What is this word politeness? Where do you use? When do you use? When should you be polite? Okay. Now I'll tell you a story about two little goats. Two goats wanting to cross the stream. There was no big bridge, but there was a small wooden piece kept across that small stream to cross. And there was a goat on one side, there was a goat on the other side. Both were not willing to wait for the turn. Both came rushing in. One goat said, "Go back, let me pass." Other goat said, "You go back, let me go." So each one wanting to be first, pushing, wanting to go, and finally they start shouting at each other, and finally both the goats fall off into the water. Now, this is only a story. We are talking about two animals. It can be two people trying to cross a single small plank stream. If we are not patient, polite to another person, how can somebody be polite to us? I told you the world is round. What you give comes back to us. We, today, you little girl and boys, what we are trying to do, we must learn at every situation to be polite. Not like the little goats that wouldn't give in to each other and fall into the river. Not call each other. Some situations you get so angry. Not shout at the other person. Try and be polite. See the matter. What is the matter together? You play in the field and both of you fight. Two children fight together for one, or a ball or something that you want. But both of you are not willing to give in. Shout at each other. No. Learn to give in. Learn to be polite. So we are cultivating a very good habit here. We are learning. I must be polite. Where? At home. The first place I said in learning anything is at home. I must be polite to my parents. To my parents at home. Unless we practice politeness in our home with mom and dad, brother and sister, it will not come easily. Any good habit that we are going to grow within us is cultivated, grown in a beautiful place called home. So mom and dad, have lots to be grateful to your parents. Now they are helping you. Politeness is practiced regularly in your house. So I must be polite where? To my parents at home, every day, every week, every month, every year. And finally, the word polite, the quality of politeness becomes part of you. Now, I must be polite to my brothers and sisters. So people in the house, you have to practice politeness, not shout. When mommy, daddy busy with their own work, you don't go shouting at your older brother, younger brother, anyone. I must be polite to my brother's sister. It can be younger, older. at home. Practice politeness at home. Very, very important. Okay, don't say, I don't like, he took my thing, she took my thing, she broke my thing. Always ready for accusing. Give in. Be polite. You will grow to be a better girl or boy. So, politeness is first learned, the lesson is learned in our house. Where? Practicing it on parents, sisters and brothers, both younger and older. I must be polite to the elders. We have elders means uncles and aunts, grandparents. They are very difficult when they are old and you don't have patience with them. Go grandpa, go aunt, mom, aunta, don't want. So learn, let us cultivate. I must be polite to the elders. Elders at home. I must be polite to the elders, uncles and aunts. When you talk about elders, here you are talking about aunts, uncle. You talk about grandparents, grandparents, grandma, grandpa. To all these people, we need lot of patience. You got to listen to them, give in to them, ask them what they want, support them. Not get angry with them and just brush them aside. So you have a beautiful stage to practice your politeness. Where? At home. Mom and dad, your brothers and sisters, your little brothers and sisters. You can play with them. Sometimes you get angry with them. They take away your little toys. Practicing your politeness with your elders, uncles and aunts, people who come home, older people at home, your grandma, grandpa, they also need your support. So when they ask you something, when they tell you something, don't give that back a wrong answer, bad answer, cut answer. Don't make them sad. So practicing politeness at home with parents, family, the extended family is very, very important. And then we are learning because they are there with you. Finish home, you're going to school. I must be polite to all my teachers. It's very important. Teachers are not going to take it, they'll give you good if you are not listening to them. I must be polite to all the teachers at school. All the teachers at school. School is a place where we are learning. Teachers are telling you, be polite. Politeness should be cultivated. First stage is home. Second, school. What about friends? Can you just brush aside friends? Like the two goats fight and send them off? No, I must be polite to all my friends. Friends in your class, friends in other classes. So your friends and classmates. I must be polite to all my friends and other classmates. I must show politeness. If I want something, give something, taking something, you're arguing, say your point, say it firmly, not by hurting them. So, I must be kind to all my parents at home, my brothers and sisters, big brothers, sisters, small brother, small sister. Be patient with them. I must be polite to the elders at home, aunts and uncles, grandpas and grandmas. I must be polite to the teachers at school. They're helping you in your learning day to day. I must be polite to all my friends and classmates. You have lots of friends at home, at school, in the neighborhood, lots and lots of friends. To all of them, you need to be polite. Then, I must be polite to my neighbors. Neighbors will come asking for help. So, I must be polite to my neighbors. they will need some help, they will ask you something. So when you're meeting them, be nice to them, be polite with them. I must be polite to the people who come home. Politeness, manners, we've shown dads and moms, uncles and aunts, somebody or the other will come. Somebody from the office, somebody from their friends long ago. So I must be polite to all the people who come home. Who come home. You have lot of places where you can practice politeness. Now, politeness is practiced two main places. I said home, school. The third, neighborhood. Now, sometimes you get a phone call and you get mad. You don't answer it properly. So, I must be polite when I am using a phone. I must be polite when talking. On making a phone call, okay, talking on phone. Sometimes you say wrong number and you get irritated. So you are not polite. Whoever they are, somebody is trying to find something. It may be a wrong number, but so showing politeness when talking on the phone, getting a phone call, and it may be a wrong number. But politeness using a phone is very, very important. Now, what are we trying to do? We are trying to cultivate politeness. We are trying to make ourselves into a kind, polished little girl or boy. So I am telling myself, I must be polite. I must be polite to my mom and dad at home. When I need something, to ask something, ask nicely. Now, I must be polite to my older brother and sister. Go along with them. Learn to adjust. I must be polite to my little brother and sister. They are so small, you must show patience at home. Then I must be polite to the elders who are in the house. I have grandparents there, aunts and uncles there, big family. I live in a big joint family. Then I must practice politeness. Now, home, next place to practice politeness, school. So I must be polite to all the teachers at school. I must be polite to all my friends and classmates, other classes. When I say friends, friends in the neighborhood, friends in the flat. I must be polite to all my neighbors. I must be polite to all the people who come home, dad's and mom's friends, your brother's friends, your sister's friends. So I must learn to be polite to them. Finally, I must be polite when using a phone, talking on a phone. It may be a wrong number, it may be a friend who you don't like to talk to. Using politeness when talking over the phone. Now, can we look at the words? What are the words, the letter sound for the first letter of every word? Let's look at it. Now, first you have I, E sound, sound, B sound, P sound. You have T sound, M, P again. Then you have A sound, H sound. Then you have T, B sound, A and H again. T, A. Then you have A, A, sound, G and P sound. Then you have T, A, and sound. T, A, sound and K sound. Then you have T, sound. Then you have T, A, P, W, K and H sound. Finally, you have wa sound, t, o, and p sound. Let's read together. We are trying to be polite at home first, then at school. I must be polite to my parents at home every day, day after day. I must be polite to my brothers, sisters, big or small, every day, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, practice politeness at home with our brothers and sisters. I must be polite to the elders at home, show patience to grandparents and uncles. I'm practicing. They're giving me an opportunity to practice politeness so that I become a good little girl or boy. I must be polite to all the teachers at home. They're helping me in my learning. I must be polite to my friends at school, at home, in the neighborhood, and all other classmates at school. I must practice politeness. I must be polite to my neighbors. I must be polite to the people who come home to meet my mom and dad, my uncles and aunts, or someone will come to meet my grandparents. I must practice politeness. Then I must practice polite. I must be polite when talking on a phone. So in all these situations, both at home and in school, we are practicing politeness so that others also will be polite to us. I am practicing politeness in my way and the way I talk. I must be polite. I said, at home, at school. That's the two main, most important places. I must be polite when I talk to a stranger. I must be polite when I talk to a stranger. I'm meeting stranger, I'm meeting someone for the first time. I don't know that person, but still, be polite, be firm, find out, help out if you can. I must be polite when I do shopping. I must be polite when I do shopping. You'll be impatient, trying to go away, get something, pushing someone. No, you must be patient. I must be polite when doing a shopping outside with your parents or friends or someone. Practicing politeness at the shopping complex. So I must be polite when I talk to a stranger, when I'm shopping. It's very, very important that you practice politeness. I must be polite when I travel around. You'll go in the auto, you'll go in the bus, you go in a cab, okay? So I must be polite when I travel. When I travel around. Bus or auto or walk or however. When you're moving around, the people you meet, you need to be polite. Say it nicely, softly. Get things done, but firmly. Okay? So I must be polite when I talk to a stranger, when I do shopping with my parents, when I travel around. Next, I must be polite when I play in the playground. You and your friends go and play. What about the playground? I must be polite when playing. When I play in the playground. Yes? In the playground. You didn't get your way, so you keep shouting at your friends. No, you get your way in a firm manner. So I must be polite when I play the playground with other friends. Maybe some friends you don't know, must be meeting for the first time, but still you must be polite when you play in the playground. Now, what about the people who work at home for mom and dad? I must be polite to those who work at home. Work at home. They're helping mom and dad in the work, the daily chorus. So, what must you do? Though they are working for you, you must be polite to those people who work for your parents, who work at home. You must be nice to them. You must be polite to them. What about the poor? I must be polite to the poor and the needy. And the needy. Those who need your help. Less fortunate ones. I must be polite to the poor and the needy. Now, above all, why are you being polite? I must be polite because I am happy. I must be polite so that you are being polite to everyone. Why? So that I am happy. I am a happy person. I become a happy person. I train myself to be a happy person. And that's what you are trying to do. Okay? I must be polite so that I make others happy. You are happy, yes. I must be polite so that I make. You're making so that I make others happy. Not only you, but others happy. What are we trying to do here? We are practicing politeness, helping ourselves to be polite, both at home, at school, in the neighborhood, to the people we meet. So, when you practice this regularly in the house, at school, then the politeness becomes part of you. Okay? So, I must be polite. When I talk to a stranger. You're meeting somebody strange, but still you need to be polite. I must be polite when I do shopping outside. I must be polite, practice politeness when I travel around. Whether in an auto or cab or bus, I need to be polite when I travel around. I must be polite when I play in the playground with other friends. When you are in the games, the heated, you're so happy that you forget yourself. Still, you must I must be polite when I play in the playground with friends. I must be polite to those who work at home, those people who come home to help mommy at the work. So I must be polite to them. I must be polite to the poor people and the needy who are less fortunate. They don't have what little I have also. I must be polite so that I am happy. Not I am forced to be polite. I must do it freely, willingly, cultivate the good habit of politeness. I must be polite so that I am happy with myself. And finally, I must be happy so that I make others happy. Now, let's look at all the sounds that have come up here. You have your wa sound, e sound, t, a, and s. Wa sound, e, d, sound. You have wa sound, e sound, t, a sound. Then you have wa and e sound, p sound, e sound, t, and p sound again. T sound, wa, a, and ha sound. Then you have t, p, a, t, and n sound. You have s sound, t, e, ha sound. You have s, t, e, m, o, and has sound. Let's read together. Remember, we are trying to cultivate the good habit of politeness in us, making us part of ourselves. I must be polite when I talk to strangers outside or at home. I must be polite when I do shopping. I must be polite when I travel around, a bus, cab, or train, plane, anyway. I must be polite when I play in the playground. When the game becomes so heated, you shouldn't forget yourself. You shouldn't forget your manners. I must be polite to those who work at home, supporting mom and dad in the work that they're doing. I must be polite to the poor and the needy, those who need my help. I must be polite so that I am happy. I am not being forced. I am cultivating politeness and I must be happy. I am happy doing it. And finally, I must be polite so that I make others happy. I not only become happy, but I also make others happy by being polite. So finally, practicing politeness at home, outside, at school, I become a polite little girl or a boy, making yourself happy and making others happy.